how I manage my time as a six-figure music producer and music business owner. Now, managing your time is one of the most important things you can do because what gets measured gets managed. And so, we hear this a lot. I've heard this a lot from a lot of people that I've worked with on helping them grow their music business. I don't have time. I have a job. I've got kids. I've got bills to pay. And it gets very overwhelming. And in reality, it's not that you don't have time. It's that you don't manage your time effectively. And I empathize because I've been there. When I was starting to really scale this music business that I have, and I'll explain what that is in a minute, I was really busy. So at the end of 2022, I had been doing music, rapping, producing, recording, putting out songs, doing all the things, all the things that you're probably doing for about 12 years at that point, I think, if I'm doing my math right. I started 2011 to 2020, just like 12, 13 years. And I was flatlined at zero the whole time, by the way. Like I had to go do a bunch of odd jobs, basketball training, hustling here and there. And by the end of 2022, my situation was I was about $25,000 in credit card debt from investing in myself, buying courses, paying for ads, doing some dumb shit as well during college. We won't get into that though. But end of 2022, that's my situation was, and I was making around $2,000 a month as a youth basketball coach. And it wasn't until I started my program, Rapid Fire Music Academy. This is where I was teaching recording artists how to produce their own music. Mind you, I've tried everything else: selling beats, mixing, mastering, remote sessions, doing things as an artist, doing shows, doing merch. You know what I mean? Dude, we have a fat cup of coffee today, bro. It's about 8:50 a.m. Can you even count this as one cup? Like, look how big this is compared to my head. Like, if I drink this cup, does this count as one cup of coffee? I feel like it should count as like two or three. Okay. ADD, I digress. That's a joke. I don't actually have ADD. Anyway, so I started Rapid Fire Music Academy. And when I started it, my wife also was like, hey, I believe in you. I believe in your music. I believe in your abilities. I believe in your potential. But you need to get a job. Like, you need to get some like real money coming in because this like basketball coaching is not enough. She was right. So here's what I did. I added 2 more jobs to my plate. I was doing basketball training where I'd like drive to kids' houses and train them. I had about 7 to 8 clients a week, which was, call it about 16 hours a week or so. I was working at a coffee shop, great coffee shop, and I was working there Thursdays through Sundays, Fridays through Sundays-ish. I'd have to get there at about 6 a.m. usually because I was working the morning shift. I opted that. They asked which one of the shifts do you want, the morning or the afternoon. I said for sure the morning because then I can get up, get things done, and by the time I'm done with you guys, I can go have the rest of my day to go do what I need to do. And I was also still doing social media management for some real estate agents. I had 2 clients I was working with. That wasn't tons of hours, but it did, it required focus. So I had 3 of those jobs. Plus, I'm now starting to learn how to grow my music business where I'm teaching recording artists how to produce. And so needless to say, like, it was busy. In the first 6 months of 2023, I think I remember taking like 9 days off. So I was grinding. And at that same time, I was still sending 50 cold DMs. By the way, cold DMs suck and they don't work very well, but people teach them. But cold DMs suck. Anybody else who's out there, whatever, that's another discussion. But anyway, I was sending 50 cold DMs a day, Monday through Thursday. And I got about 3 clients in 6 months, something like that. Anyway, then somehow I squeezed out time and money to be able to grow my music business. I met the right mentor, Jeremy Pogue, in May or June. I can never remember if it was like May or June. It was like May or June 2023. I was pretty much at zero, and he helped me go from that to $20,000 per month in 7 months. Then once I like quit those 3 jobs and I went all in on the business, I thought, oh, this is going to get so easy now that I have all this time on my hands, which I totally thought. But then like the next year, I was able to double my business the next year. However, the challenging thing was like going from 2023 where I had like 3 jobs and then transitioning. I thought it'd be so easy, but I was still finding myself running around with a chicken with his head cut off. By the way, still to this day, I feel that way, but I'm a lot more optimized and dialed. And so I was able to learn from actually one of my best friends, Eduardo, Eduardo Leo. I call him Eduardo Lu, the Mexican Jew, because that's what he is. But he I hired him to be like a peak performance coach for me, and it changed my life because he helped me, dude. Basically, he helped me set up what I'm gonna help you set up today, which was like my Google Calendar. So I'm gonna show you my Google Calendar, and then we're gonna go like blank to another Google Calendar, and I'm gonna basically kind of like set it up from scratch. And this time management system is what helped me scale to six figures. Actually, let me rephrase that. Year one of my business, I did 77K. Then year two, I more than doubled the biz to about 145, 150K. I can't remember the exact number. And I was averaging 20K a month-ish. There was a lot of months where I was averaging 20K a month. And the way I was able to double the business was through this time management system. This was one of the things. Obviously, it's not the only thing. If you just manage your time, that's not the only thing. But this was a huge factor. So let's dive into it. So this is my actual calendar, bro. So first of all, here's what I'll show you. Now this is called my execution calendar. This is the personal container. Okay? So I'll walk you through. Actually, I need to redo this. So let's redo this for next week. So there's two calendars, the personal container and the execution. Two calendars. So I'm going to start with the personal container. We're going to go to next week. Actually, let's do it right here. Delete. We're going to start over from scratch. Okay? So we're going to just do things in containers. So remember, two calendars. This is the personal container and then the execution. Now, what is the difference? The difference is your personal container is like the big categories. The execution calendar is like, what are the little things that go into those categories? So we'll start with personal container. So actually, and I'm going to change the wake up because I don't wake up at 5:30. I wake up at 5. And my wake up's about 5 to 5:30 a.m. That's like, wake up is like, I wake up, go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, drink some water, and then I get out. I go to the gym, I work out, whatever it is. So that wake up, it's funny because it probably shouldn't take that long, but like wake up, bathroom, brush my teeth, water, that's usually around 30 minutes. Sometimes I get it in 20, but usually it's 30 minutes. So now every day it's that wake up. Okay. So now my working out time, generally speaking, is, let's call it 5:30 to 7. And this is exercise. And I have a little, I'm going to keep that. I like the purple. I don't know why I like the purple. So I like to color code it, right? So it's 5:30 to 7 and then does not repeat. It actually does repeat every weekday, Monday through Friday. It's 5:30. I don't usually work out for an hour and a half, but it's like the going to the gym, the warming up, the cool down, the stretch, whatever, overall, and then coming home, the driving, all overall, it's about an hour and a half. Exercise, boom. Now, what I like to personally do from usually 7 to 8 a.m. is journal. Let me move this. Is journal, read, shower. And let's call that there because it's kind of like a recovery, and we're going to make that every day. No, sorry. It's not all day. Monday through Friday. Sick. Now, from 8 till 10 is what I do called deep work, and I'm going to explain what each of these things is. So don't worry. I'm just going to categorize them first, right? And repeats deep work, 8 to 10. Awesome. And then from 11, I apologize. Hang on a second. Yes. Oh, no. Yeah. Here. From 11 till 6 is reactive work. And that does repeat Monday through Friday. Actually, that's more of like a Monday through. That's more Monday through Thursday, actually, because I don't usually. Fridays are a little different. Reactive work 11 to 6. This is breakfast. Breakfast is, call it 10 to 11. And we'll do that Monday through Friday. And we'll call that the light blue. It'd be in the same category. It's kind of like a recovery / meals thing. And that's Monday to Friday. Okay, great. Awesome. I want to leave the white space here on Friday because that's like That could be like deep work. That could be music, content, going on a hike, hanging out with a friend, getting coffee by myself. Who cares? Going to get a haircut, whatever it is. I leave that blank. Saturdays blank as well. Sundays, I do have I do have 2 basketball trainings still. I do have two players that I train. So that's more of like a 9:30 till 1 o'clock, right? Because I go from 10 to 11 with one player, and then 11:30 to 12:30, and then I get home at 1, and the first one starts at 10, so I leave at 9:30. So it's 9:30 to 1 basketball training. Throw a little emoji in there. Sweet. Cute. Basketball training. Cool. And then, I could wake up early. I can get some deep work in before I go for the training, and then I could walk. I could do what I could do actually is walk, and I could do like a 5 to 7 type thing. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Walk, and then we could go deep work. All right. Why is it purple though? No, they're all kind of purple. Oh, because the calendar. Okay. So the difference, just so you know, between deep work and reactive work. So deep work is work that you can do that does not require other human beings. Like currently right now, I'm doing deep work. I'm making a video that doesn't require humans. There's no communication. I'm not responding to DMs. I'm not checking back in with clients. I'm not having calls, right? Reactive work is work that requires other human beings, meaning calls, DMs. For me, actually, that's kind of it. Calls, DMs, things of that nature. Now, I'm not telling you have to set up your calendar like this. I'm just telling you this is how I'm setting it up. And then if we go to next week, let's do this. Weekly on Sunday. That's a good... I've been freestyling my Sundays recently, and I'm glad I'm now not doing that. I'm glad I can that's so funny. Do you see that little picture? Look at that little picture it does for basketball. Does it do one for a walk? No, I wish it would. Not for exercise? Okay. That's so funny. So that's that. Now, I don't look at my personal container calendar. What I do is I look at my execution calendar. And so if we do them both together, it looks a little crazy and overwhelming, but don't worry. But you can see I pretty much, I follow, right, the same thing. Right? I follow the exact same calendar pretty much. So now we're going to look at my execution calendar. These are my appointments. My Calendly. When people book a call on my Calendly, it's linked up with my Google Cal, right? I have and I'll show you something I do with Calendly. So if you're booking calls with people, right, to keep things really organized, I've got a Calendly for meeting up with new clients. Like one thing I'm doing now, I was going to say sales calls, but one thing I'm doing now is I run one-on-one challenges. So essentially what I do is I will literally, and I don't do this with everybody, you have to apply because this is a lot of my time, but I work with people one-on-one for 4 days for free. Each day is about 30 to 45 minutes or an hour sometimes. At the end of the 4 days, I make you an offer, and yes, I pitch you to work with me further to help you grow your music business. So I don't do sales calls anymore. I'm doing the challenges, but this is where you can book that. Right? Music Money Mastery. You can book those. When someone books that, it goes to my calendar. But if I want to meet with a friend, for example, I have this one. It says Sickos Mastermind. These are 2 of my friends that are also entrepreneurs. One of my friends was like, dude, we should just call ourselves the Sickos. I'm like, cool. I love it. I'm fine with that. So that goes here, private meeting. I have a friend named Eduardo, who I was just talking to you about, who I want to meet and catch up with. He booked a call, Papacito. He booked a call for then. That's orange, right? So I like to, oh, I'm sorry. Go back. So I like to categorize everything, right? Like you can see the dark green is deep work. And literally, what am I doing? High management time as a 6-figure producer. I'm doing it right now. 10 o'clock, I'll go have breakfast. By the way, I might skip brekkie today. We'll see. I have a one-on-one challenge with a dope producer named Eclipse. I've got my one-on-one call with my client Condor. That's in yellow. Got my mastermind with my guys. And actually, I'm going to change that to meetings. I like that. One-on-one client, Max, Spencer, we're going to begin our one-on-one challenge today. And then me and Eclipse end tomorrow. And then tomorrow, I had a call with a friend, but I'm canceling it. Tomorrow, I'm literally just going to work on music and my course. So I might even arguably go like this. I might go like 3 hours straight. Yeah, but I've got that too. So I'm gonna actually do this right here. So I changed it. So tomorrow I'm gonna work on my course because I have obviously. I mean, right, so I mentor music producers on, and not just music producers, music coaches as well, on how to grow their music businesses. And so I have my course. So I'm gonna be revamping it, and I'm gonna be like adding new videos, revamp. I got some really cool stuff planned. I'm excited. I'm super excited. So I'll do that tomorrow for 2 hours. I'm gonna get locked in, bro. I'm not even gonna bring my phone in my room. I'm in my office. I'm leaving my phone in the apartment. I'm coming in the office and I'm getting after it. I'll probably do the same with music. I'm not gonna have my phone. I'm gonna also try to book a haircut for tomorrow, and I'm gonna I'm gonna book a haircut for tomorrow if my barber has availability for 3 or 4 o'clock. I'm gonna figure out a time when we can do it, or we could lock in on Sunday. The final thing I'll tell you is I do have this one thing called a weekly strategy session, which is super dope, and I'll show you what that looks like. So every Sunday, what I do is I go through my monthly goals, what's my goal, where are we at so far, how much more do we have left to get there, what are my weekly goals, what are my daily priorities, and then I have a journal prompt that I'm going to start doing as well. And then I have this survey, I got this from a coaching program I'm in called Peace and Profit, where it's literally going to be quantifying. I'll show it to you really quick, but I don't want to show too much, but literally quantifying peace. How much peace and I guess how much peace do I have in my life? I like it because I do want to have more peace in my life. And then a journal prompt. That's what I do every Sunday. And as you can see, let's look at the personal container. Okay. So walk, deep work, right? So I'm going to add that in here in my execution calendar. Walk is from 5 to 7. It's not really going to be a 2-hour walk, but I like to leave that much time. Then we're going to go, actually, let's do it like this. This is actually much better. I'm going to go journal / and in fact, here's what we could do. This could be walk / journal / read, because what I can do is walk to a coffee shop. That's a solid idea. Then from 7 to 9 can be deep work. And then I'm going to go, right, I'm going to go, right, basketball trainings, right, we kind of already did this, but now we're adding it to the execution calendar, 9:30 till 1 o'clock. Oh, and actually, sorry, I'm going to make that repeat. Oh, okay, it is. Is this also repeating? Nope. Weekly on Sunday. Yep. So walk, journal, read. I'll do deep work will be the weekly strategy session and any other stuff that I might need to do. Basketball training. Now you might be even like, oh, Lee, when are you going to eat here? So this will be my first meal of the day on Sunday. Sunday is going to be a solid day. I'll call it first meal. And sometimes I might go to Black Bear Diner, get a little steak and eggs. I might come home, not sure. But that's going to be the first meal. And then what I'd really love to do would be another walk from 2 to 3. Exercise, recovery, meals, exercise. 2 walks that day. That's solid. That's a solid day. And then from 3 to 5, my wife, she has to go to work on Sunday. So I'm literally just going to be relax. That's actually solid, bro. Now, this might become more work, content. But if I get up at 5, walk, journal, read, I get my first, walk in, plus journal, plus read, then come back in weekly strategy session, which will not take 2 hours. I might even have time for breakfast here, maybe. Basketball trainings, and then first meal. I might be able to sneak my first meal in right there. But I liked fasting, and so I might do that, right? So moving forward from now on, you cannot use the excuse that you don't have time, right? You don't want to use the excuse that you don't have time or that you're overwhelmed or blah, 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 whatever it is. It's like, no, we can do things like that to get things done, and it will help make our lives better, right? Hope you got some value from this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.